Next up we have Martha Reed, and I don't know the name of Martha's latest book, and that's a little embarrassing. Gaze. Very good. Martha Reed from ULL, yeah, one of our finest and most influential writers. We're very glad to have her here. Thank you. Martha Reed.
I'm going to read some pieces from a new project called The Submerged Land, about Louisiana, about South Louisiana. Under pressure of water. Assuming a posture of prayer or regret, the submerged land, what holds? Green embrace. In what patterns, time or water? Land under pressure of water. A suspension. No petition, colloidal settlement, a subjective state, floodplain, pieced and pierced land, fluvial terrace, marsh, bayou, erodes against the lost margin of error, registering ruin, forfeiture, furrowed, extracted, terra humida, submerged and emptied land. Water and history. This is a quote from an oral history interview with a person living down in the real marginal areas along the coastline in the Gulf. We thought the world was ours, all right. Channel, Trammel, water trending south, Bayou Fauchon, more or less, water moving there. Marsh grass, smooth, cordgrass, common reed. La vie faucheuse, chenilleres binding soaked earth to earth, old shell heaps. Marais, boats pull through flottants, drifting against blue. These islands, bull-tongue, wiregrass, shrimpers, oyster harvesters, boat-minded people, more or less. Il est raide comme une babiche, amid the wet. Profusion, this trembling vegetative ground, luggers seining the flood. Macondo, blowout, hemorrhages into the Gulf. Shrimpers set nets, take record hauls. Turtle bycatch excluders tied shut, the unlikely shapes of things, a regional syntax, drifting before the slick, unoiled dead tossed back to sea. Myrtle Grove Trailer Park. Rows of sugarcane hard against. We all had miscarriages. Dented but decent, smothered steak and stewed plaquemine, trailers. A community ceases to exist. What was not said, a word, never, not a word. Louisiana hospitals and human services, vinyl chloride in the water, not failed to report Myrtle Grove. And I thought, Dow Chemical working to pinpoint the source, part of the solution. I hope the source, the plant, is not the source. I don't lose my baby. 5 years, human error, failed to tell, vinyl chloride detected in upper Plaquemine aquifer. Jobs for more than 6,000 Dow and contract employees, part of the surrounding community, balancing economic, environmental, and social responsibility. Big shade trees, trailers with porches, splash pools, men washing cars. We all just went empty, brown space, patches and homes gone. Wind blows in off the cane. On with life, cooking with it. Dow's pure product, 1964 PVC production. No knowing how 5 years Dow working to be part of the solution. Toxic grounds already condemned. Morrisonville Cemetery, 13, contaminated water miscarrying that many women on one street. Dow in Louisiana, children throng from the school bus, afternoon cools. It was relocated on checks already spoken for, part of the solution. A nice place. Plaquemine Aquifer Report, EPA 10704. It has an epigram from Dorothy Wordsworth. It was a beautiful spring morning, warm and quiet with mists. It was a beautiful contaminant transport, a beautiful original source area, beautiful probable source, and quiet, solid phases eroded, quiet, turbulent river flow, quiet cut bank. It was a beautiful turn in the stream, a beautiful channel, each beautiful shift to the outside turn. And quiet, any contaminant, quiet, any released at or quiet near Site 13. It was a beautiful fluvial process, a beautiful Site 13. Beautiful, facilitated the movement, and quiet. Cutting tends to be quiet, prominent at the likely, quiet, significant source. It was a beautiful, direct, indirect contact, a beautiful upper sand aquifer, beautiful once contaminants moved, and quiet, Plaquemine aquifer, quiet upper sand. It was a beautiful transport, a beautiful Mississippi River transport, beautiful dispersed away, and quiet processes, advection and quiet dispersion contribute to quiet plume growth, feather. It was a beautiful headdress, ornament, a beautiful funeral sheath, likely not, beautiful, like as, and quiet, not quiet, described in this report, quiet lateral stream cutting. It was a beautiful preferential pathway, a beautiful pipeline, beautiful accelerated descent, and quiet, cutting there, quiet vinyl chloride, quiet cis-1,2 dichloroethene. It was a beautiful 1 foot per day, a beautiful rough estimate, beautiful spreading indicated by, and quiet dotted pattern, quiet indicated by the purpose, quiet, an idea of. It was a beautiful order of magnitude, a beautiful contaminant reach, beautiful Myrtle Grove wells, and quiet 20 to 40 year quiet time frame, quiet 1964 Dow dioxin. It was a beautiful, formerly Morrisonville spill, a beautiful racial, beautiful profiling of chemical and quiet plant placement, quiet likely significant source, quiet area in black. It was a beautiful color line. A beautiful color line does not rule out, beautiful does not, and quiet rule out, quiet 1993 release, quiet the contaminated material. It was a beautiful, no longer identifiable on the surface, a beautiful vinyl, beautiful chloride in groundwater, and quiet 97 parts per billion, quiet drinking water, quiet Myrtle Grove water supply. Thanks. The remembered place. We enter by means of images or words. Oniric coast, coast of dream memory itself, body-like, breathing its fertile embraces, wind, course, heat, flow, local and particular, the axis between coast and erosion, navigable only by water, a comparative lack of limit, defined by instability where we take root in the world. This coast, this intimate space, mine, yours, theirs, a felicitous space, fish, shrimp, crab, oyster, estuary, oil and gas depository, opposed vectors of topophilia and extractive endeavor. Immensity in the intimate domain is intensity, the place of imagination. Mangrove forest, cheniere, flottant, oil, rice, gas, cane, a set of relations irreducible to the other's terms, a counter-definition, coast as site, the deployment of extractive technologies, no reverie, locating the subterranean reservoirs of raw crude, garden, cemetery, an effective location not seen but found, cross-drilling from the floating platform's umbilical connections and manifold centers. Where are we? It, again and again, thin, slick filler cake and cement seal the sites of entry. Exposure, less rigorous, parsing the possible futures. The coast relocates itself again and again. Permeable margin redefined by salt and the erosive potential of channelization. Flayed torso, this geological body, remembered body, fluid and nomadic matter, mud knit and re-knit among weeds. And a last piece, it's a response to a question posed by the writer Banu Kapil. She did a series of interviews with Indian women that she didn't know that she would just happen to meet. And this is one of the questions. Who are you, and whom do you love? An oak, a floodplain, nothing dry. The rate of compression of memory against an influx of salt. Widow's weeds, 4,000 miles of water, or a color, green. Damp writes itself into wood, sprawls, a whole duckweed, hyacinth, kudzu, no end to it. Family of pernicious weeds, hurricane, tornado, flood, any coastline with a boat shed. Dock, propagates, erosion. Erasure presupposes nothing to hand. What, love, are you? Excess, nitrogen, native, New Iberian, Bourbon, Acadian, Creole, West African. Histories, several, arrive again and again. How we account for weather, a kind in folly, lost languages, love. In Arakapas, widow, a word, water, had none. Thanks very much.